Okay, so it is time that we get started. I thank you all to join on time, and welcome to this week's webinar, where we'll be talking about Cisco SecureX. First, a little bit about me. So my name is Stojan. I'm coming from NIL in Slovenia. I've been here for way too long, so 16 plus years. Currently, I hold a CCIE Security, and I'm also a Cisco certified instructor. And I focus mostly in security, be it Cisco, open source, Microsoft, IBM, etc. Working as an architect, instructor, engineer, and so on. And currently, I'm also serving as a Concha VT security lead. When I'm not working, I do have a few hobbies, which I totally enjoy. And yeah, so where I'm coming from? NIL is the company that's hosting the webinar today. We are part of the Concha group since last year, so since 2019. NIL has offices all around the world: Canada, Morocco, Serbia, South Africa, UAE, USA, and we've been around for quite a while as well, so 1989, and have been working with Cisco as a gold mark partner since 1995. And today we'll be talking about security. What security is, how it's evolving, which are the new building blocks, new frontiers that we're facing. So those of you who have been working with security for a while, you know it's hard to define exactly this is security. So I'm securing my email, I'm securing my web, I'm securing my endpoints, I'm securing my desktops, my data center, my perimeter, and so on and so forth. So Cisco as a company has also been evolving, especially in the security part, with multiple acquisitions, let's say with ARMport, with email web security back in 2007, Meraki back in 2012, Cognitive and AMP in 2013 with SourceFire, next generation firewalls, Umbrella, Stealth Watch Filtration, a bunch of great cloud-based security tools that I hope you guys are already using. And moving in the later times, so unified networking security with software-defined WAN, software-defined access, Stealth Watch Cloud, dual threat response, and so on. So security is great, and we all love using it, but it can get that complex. How do I manage all this? How do I deal with all the solutions? How do I integrate them? Are there APIs? Do I have to use the CLI? Do I have to use the web interfaces? So what are my options that are available? So in order for us to be able to achieve the integration, to make our lives easier, Cisco has come up with a common security platform that will allow us to combine and to work together with all those multiple security products under one roof, under one umbrella, using the built-in APIs for the security tools, as well as third-party integrations, which is what we're talking about today. So the tool or the solution that we'll be talking about is called Cisco SecureX. So as I'll be talking about this later on, it's not a product. It's not something that you can sell, that you can package, but it is a new way on how to achieve security integration. How to basically help the customers combine the resources that they have, because we all know it's hard to actually find qualified people, engineers who deal with security, who deal with multiple tools, etc. Let's give them something where they can join those forces, where they can basically achieve a synergy between multiple tools and have a common platform on which they can work to reduce the complexity. Again, how do I integrate stuff between M4 endpoints, between Umbrella, with Stealth Watch Cloud, with iteration, and so on? So how do I link all those observables? How do I connect all the attributes that we have? Well, this is the tool, this is the environment that will actually help us do that. So with Cisco SecureX, we are providing integration of multiple Cisco security cloud-based tools, as well as some on-premise ones, and obviously third-party tools. So as we'll see later on, existing integration exists for Google, for Microsoft tools with ServiceNow, and obviously with Cisco's tools such as WebEx Teams and so on. The goal is to achieve and to have a common, consistent interface across all the tools that we're using, and to actually allow you to experience this in the best way possible. So what is the main goal of doing this? So all of those of you who are working in multiple companies know that companies are actually reducing the number of vendors that they're using. So in the later years, Cisco has done some analysis, and they've seen that more and more companies are using less and less vendors. So why is that? Well, as I said, complexity, integration, APIs. Do I really need to learn another interface? Do I need to learn another API? Do I need to learn another programming language? Well, it's hard to find qualified people. It's quite hard to learn people new stuff again and again and again. And that's why basically combining the whole solution under one umbrella, providing a common framework, a common user interface for all the tools that you're using is something that we're all moving towards. So obviously Cisco wasn't the first one to come up with this idea. So be it Palo Alto, be it IBM, be it AWS, Microsoft, etc., they've all started providing various types of integration. Be it with the data lake where you can combine all the data about your endpoints, be it with a Splunk which integrates with multiple different solutions, be it with IBM, with CM solutions, with endpoint solutions, etc., that are available, with Amazon, with all the security and infrastructure tools that are available. So all of those are, let's say, good examples of how we take a large array of products, large array of solutions, and integrate them under one umbrella. So as I mentioned before, Cisco SecureX, it's not a new product. It's not something that NIL or Concha can sell you, that can position to you, that can basically carry a price. It is a free platform which integrates with your existing security products. So you do need to have licenses for your web, email security, for, let's say, your M4 endpoints, for your StealthWatch Cloud, etc. But if you already have them, then SecureX is free. You can basically use it directly from within the cloud-based tools, as I mentioned before, M4 endpoints, Umbrella, Tetration, StealthWatch Cloud, etc. It's integrated inside our products, or it will be on June 30th. So as I'll talk about this a bit later on, June 30th is the current release date when the product comes live. But at the time of release, again, the point is that we'll be integrating multiple Cisco security tools, be it from the network security, from the endpoint security, cloud-based security, application security, and so on. Integrate this with third-party solutions. So as I mentioned before, be it Microsoft, be it Google, be it ServiceNow, etc., enrich the data that we collect using external security intelligence. Could be VirusTotal, could be some other security tools, could be from the Talos team, and so on. Obviously, integrate this with identity, pull in the data from all the data sources that we can, and export it to your CM, integrate it with the SOAR, and so on. And obviously, help both the SecOps teams, for which this is primarily intended, but empower also your NetOps and ITOps teams by allowing them to actually use the infrastructure, to use the tools, and to use the data that is collected and visualized and integrated in a common way across the whole portfolio of solutions that are available. So, as I mentioned before, on June 30th, the first release of Cisco SecureX will be available, and this will be an MVP solution, meaning that a lot of stuff will be in there, a lot of integrations, a lot of things to already work. However, we do need to keep in mind this is the first release of the environment. And obviously some things that you might already know, be it Cisco Threat Response, be it some automation tools, etc., will already be there. We'll see that we have options of automation and integration, harmonizing the policies, so pushing them across the different solutions. This will all lie on the common bed of common interfaces and APIs that already exist or will be developed by the time that it gets released. And obviously the point, again, is to integrate various verticals that you guys might already be using, be it from network security, cloud, endpoint application, to be able to integrate the data that is in there to external tools such as ServiceNow, such as WebEx Teams, and so on, to provide email messaging capabilities to your users, and to do this on a global level, be it EU, be it USA, be it APJC, so basically provide the common platform that you'll be able to use. So I'm talking about integration. So what will be integrated? What will actually be inside the portfolio as this gets released? So there will be four major characteristics, or basically Lego bricks, so you might call them, that actually comprise SecureX. There will be the ribbon. This is like a pop-up that you will get in your browser, which will integrate all the products together. You will get your automation or orchestration. Again, using the APIs with zero or no code approach, you will be able to create your workflows, your playbooks to automate the tasks that you would otherwise have to do manually. There will be built-in metrics and alerts to help you understand, okay, what's happening with my AMP, with my stealth watch, with my titration, etc. How do I visualize all those things? How do I make sense of how they're connected, and so on? And obviously, this will all be linked together with single sign-on. Dual will be the preferred way, but also other authentication methods will be supported. And this, again, the goal is to have all of this under single web interface under one umbrella. And again, various products will be integrated at various levels. As we see, for example, M for endpoints will have full integration, ESA, WSA, so email web security, everything will work, let's say, except the single sign-on. For ThreadGrid, similar story and so on. But again, do keep in mind, this is the first release of the tool, of the environment, and future tools and future capabilities will be added later on. So, as I mentioned before, the main power of Cisco SecureX is really in the integration. How do we integrate anything from email security, firewall as a service, data enrichment, identity management, collaboration platforms, SD access, SD-WAN, etc. How do we integrate the APIs, the capabilities, the reporting data, etc., all of those tools under one roof, and in addition, pull in the data from third-party sources and also export the data to third-party, let's say CMs, etc., that you guys might be using. And this is actually the power of Cisco SecureX to help us automate stuff like phishing investigations, where as we receive an email, some guys might flag it as a phishing email. Now what happens after that? I need to analyze it, I need to look at the URLs, I need to flag it as phishing, I need to set up a new incident ticket, etc. So do I really need to do this by hand, or can I automate this? Well, with SecureX, you can. You have your threat hunting, you have your vulnerability management with integration with ServiceNow, you have your automation capabilities that we'll take a look at, for example, with auto-sizing of your VPN environment, of Office 365 integration by continuously monitoring which IP addresses, which blocks comprise the O365 subnets, etc. So all of those are, let's say, just some examples of activities which you will be able to integrate and automate using Cisco SecureX. And the whole point is to save your time, to actually make your lives easier, to create one flow, one single policy on how this should be handled, and not do it again and again by hand, and again, basically missing something, not doing it completely, not going to sleep at 11 o'clock in the night, and stuff like that. So because use cases are really important for us to understand the capabilities of Cisco SecureX, let's take a look at some. Me, as most of you who have been in the quarantine for the last 2-3 months, knows that secure connectivity, VPNs, remote access, one of the big challenges that the companies actually faced. So how do I set up my environment to allow all of my 100, 200, 5,000, 1,000 users to connect simultaneously? How do I monitor this? How do I know which capabilities to set up for my VPN headends? When to bring up a new, let's say, virtual ASA, when to bring it down, how to authorize those things automatically, etc. Well, without SecureX, you would actually need to do this by hand. You would need to have a monitoring system, which will, let's say, monitor the CPU or the number of endpoints on your existing VPN headends. And when you run out of resources, you need to spin up a new one, set it up in a cluster, and so on. With SecureX, you should be able to monitor all of those devices automatically, either directly or using an interface such as Cisco Defense Orchestrator to understand which of the characteristics are exceeding the level of normalcy. So either CPU load, number of licenses, number of endpoints, and so on. Create a workflow where, as you reach, let's say, the certain threshold, a new message will pop up in your WebEx Teams asking you, okay, do you authorize me to spin up a new ASA VM? And by just clicking that one link, you can then spin up a new VM, join it into the VPN cluster, and have the whole thing work automatically. And this, for example, shows the power of monitoring your IT environment, integrating with messaging capabilities, and introducing security into the whole story, where you would use Duo single sign-on to authorize an action which would run in that case. And the playbook may run automatically 24/7. Again, authorization is optional, but you get the idea. So basically, either do this fully automatically or using the additional integrations. It's really a way to automate all those things. The other one, more and more companies are using Office 365, are moving their workloads into the cloud, and are obviously configuring their firewalls, their VPNs to be able to handle that. So what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes you do not want to route all of your Office 365 traffic into a VPN, basically to conserve on the CPU, to conserve on the bandwidth. If it's in the cloud, it should go directly to the cloud, and so on and so forth. So in order to achieve that, you need to know where does Office 365 exist, or how do I set up my split VPN, my tunnels, etc., to route the traffic correctly. So does it go to the internet? Does it go to my VPN? Does it go over my SD-WAN, etc., etc.? So before SecureX, you would need to manually, for example, monitor the list of published IP addresses by Microsoft, import that list into your VPN headend, be it Firepower Firewall, be it an ASA, and then basically push this update out, update your configuration manually, and so on. So with SecureX, you can do this with 3 blocks of pre-programmed code. You can pull down the list directly from Microsoft, push this onto your ASA either directly or via CDO, and execute the command so that this gets automatically incorporated. And this can be at 3 a.m., could be at 5 p.m., could be when you're out having a beer, doesn't matter. The point is that this is done automatically by the system itself and by using the data that is already available in an automated and secure way. And again, this can be done automatically, pushed directly into your environment, and without any manual intervention needed, unless you obviously wanted to. As I mentioned again, you can still integrate this with your WebEx teams, with Duo, and with other integration methods that are available. So let me just take a look at the Q&A when talking about what we have. So there is a question from Peter asking if we already have CTR, so Cisco Threat Response, can we migrate to SecureX or will access be seamless? So yes, the question is absolutely. So as I mentioned before, the login to the environment, to your cloud environment, will be done via single sign-on, meaning that once you log in to security.cisco.com, you will have direct access to all of your cloud-based tools, be it CTR, be it Duo, be it AMP, etc. And when integrating SecureX with your existing deployments, you will just need to authorize SecureX to access your CTR, but to access your AMP, to access your umbrella, and so on. So no modifications on existing tools, existing policies, existing variables will need to be needed. You will just need to authorize SecureX to be able to integrate with your existing environment, and you're good to go. So the second question was, can SecureX help with vulnerability assessment and pen testing techniques? So again, SecureX is an integration tool. It means that it will integrate your existing tools, be it AMP with Orbital, be it, let's say, Umbrella with Investigate, be it CTR with collecting all the attributes and observables and so on. So you'll be able to pull all this data in. And yes, as Jonathan just asked the question as well, you will be able to integrate this with third-party tools as well. So by the end of the lecture, I'll be talking about the ways on how we integrate this. So obviously the best way is leveraging the APIs, but there's other methods as well, such as custom Python scripts or basically some REST API pushes and stuff like that. So again, the idea here is to really provide as powerful integration as possible, obviously with focus on Cisco, but a lot of third-party integrations are there as well, which I'll talk about in just a minute when I talk about the automation capabilities and so on. So what are we talking about when we talk about Cisco SecureX? So first of all, again, which is probably something that you guys have maybe worked already with last year, is Cisco Threat Response. So CTR is the premium incident resolution tool where you can go in, you can pull in your observers, you can connect stuff from, again, Umbrella, AMP, etc. But for example, it doesn't provide automation. It doesn't provide as tight integration with other tools as well, and so on. But yeah, CTR is one of the main building blocks of SecureX, and it's here to stay. There's the playbook automation, something that links us, for example, to the SOAR world, where, again, by automating the flows that you would normally do in a playbook, you can, again, use either the existing pre-built blocks by really just doing drag and drop, or create your own blocks of code or scripts or calls to a web page or some other automation resources to automate those tasks. You will have your fully customizable dashboard. This is especially true when it comes to integration between various teams. So you might have one team that deals with endpoint security, with your, let's say, M4 endpoints, with Orbital and stuff like that. You can have your NetOps team, which deals mostly, let's say, with switches or your, let's say, ASAs. You might have your cloud security team, etc., and they will be able to customize the dashboard completely to their requirements. There's the ribbon, which I already discussed briefly, which will be the unifying tool, or basically what will bring all of those integrations together in one pop-up window inside your browser itself. And obviously third-party integrations for enhanced visibility. So the main emphasis here is on enriching the data. For example, again, as I said, from Talos, VirusTotal, some third-party resources. It is to export certain events, such as open a new ticket in ServiceNow. It is to, again, trigger a certain action and so on. And we'll basically see what's already available and what will be added on later. So the first thing, as I mentioned, is a single sign-on. The single sign-on, which again, you will be able to do this either via existing Cisco or Microsoft login, probably something else later on as well, is fully integrated with Duo. What I mean by this is, if we just take a look at an example, when you sign on for the first time, it's going to ask you to set up a multi-factor auth, where Duo is the basic provider. As you log in for the first time, you will go through a setup procedure where you will enter your phone number. It will obviously ask you to verify it, to either send you a push to scan a QR code, to send you an SMS message, something like that. Once you verify the device, you will then be taken again back to the login screen. And as you log in back to your environment, you can be sent a push or enter a PIN, whichever you want. Again, when you log in for the first time, it's going to ask you, let's say, for your maybe additional phone number if you want. You can customize how the login screen will look like. So put on your wife's picture or your favorite pet or another image that you can. And as you log in, this is the screen that you will get. And this is basically, as I said, with a single sign-on, you will have access to all your cloud-based security tools at one step. And then just the next step is really just to provide integrations, so to authorize SecureX to pull the data and to integrate it between those tools. Okay, the second part, when we're talking about SecureX, is obviously CTR. So CTR as the main investigation tool, already existing for a year, etc., which pulls in different observables, different attributes from, again, existing Cisco security tools and third party as well, is here to stay. But what SecureX actually brings, in addition to the table, is really providing the automation, providing deeper integration, providing really the more enhanced playbooks that you'll be able to work with, and working with the cases with a ribbon, as we'll see in just a bit. As far as the dashboard goes, as I mentioned before, the dashboard will be fully customizable. So all of the widgets, all of the graphs, all of the elements that are in here will be interactive. They will pull the data from your existing environments. Again, SecureX relies on the infrastructure that you already have, be it M4 endpoints, be it Umbrella, be it Tetration, be it any other, let's say, cloud-based tools or third-party elements to pull the data in and to provide the visualization. And this is maybe one of the big, let's say, differences, that SecureX as itself doesn't, let's say, store any data. It's not a CM that would require some large storage. It doesn't act as a data lake, which would, let's say, pull information from your endpoints, store it, etc. No, it relies on, let's say, M4 endpoints to keep the data about the endpoints. It relies on Umbrella to monitor and configure your access to the web. It relies on, let's say, Tetration to enforce the policies and provide visualization within a data center. But it does provide integration. It provides full visibility between those tools and a way to have them working together. So again, when talking about the SecureX dashboard, when we'll start off, it's going to be an empty slate where you guys will be able to add your tiles and additional dashboards as you go along. So in here, you can already see, let's say, all the integrations that will be available at launch. For example, I will start my dashboard by setting up various SecureX elements. I will add some, let's say, M for endpoint stuff, and let's say some umbrella elements as well. And again, this will pull information from my M for endpoints, from my umbrella, because environment already knows who I am, it knows my environment, and allows me to customize the views as I go along. So as you, let's say, modify the timescale, it gets modified for all the elements at the same time, but this is again fully customizable. You can tweak and modify every tile on the dashboard as you want. You can, let's say, change also the timescales for the specific widget if you want to. You can rearrange them. You can, I don't know, set up the different colors, all of that. So again, and as we'll see in just a bit, you can also have various dashboards. So this is basically just the default one, which you will see as you log in. But again, you can set up the different timescales. You can also pivot directly to the rest of the tools that are integrated. So for example, because we know who you are, we know where your M for endpoint lives, and you can pivot to that one. And coming back, let's say, to Cisco SecureX, we can set up a different dashboard. Let's say, call it next generation firewall, and I will pull in the data directly from CDO. So CDO, being the cloud-based firewall management tool, will set up all the information that we can from our firepower appliances that are set up across the globe, or set up a new dashboard, let's say, for cloud security. So with all the cloud security products that are out there, let's say from StealthWatch Cloud, basically device count, traffic over time, etc. We can pull in stuff from, let's say, titration. Again, the way it's set up. So again, metrics, agent summary, and so on. We can pull stuff in, let's say, from umbrella. Again, request all the graphs, all the statistics that are available. And once we're happy what we have, basically, again, the environment will just aggregate information directly from those environments, display it for you to use, and you can basically use the environment as you go. There's another question from Jonathan. If this is a multi-tenant solution, so currently it is not. So again, this is the first release of the solution as it's coming out. And as you log in, so as you log in using your single sign-on, the user or the enterprise with which you logged in, this is the data that you will see. Perhaps coming on later, again, we'll see how this goes. I'm guessing that they will also introduce some level of multi-tenancy, but not at this time. So this may come in the future. Right now, it's a single tenant. So for the user or for the organization that you log in, you will see the tools, again, for which you do have already licenses, and they will be automatically integrated into SecureX. Okay, the unifying part, as I mentioned before, is the SecureX ribbon. So the SecureX ribbon, again, it will be a tool which will allow you to navigate through the cases which you will be working on, be it on AMP, be it on umbrella, be it on titration, etc. Pull in the observables, pull in the little attributes, collect the IP addresses. It will allow you to navigate through the tools that are available. So again, quickly switch over to umbrella, switch over to AMP, switch over to titration, and so on. It will allow you to search through the data that is stored across the various tools, and so on. So the main tools that will be available inside the ribbon will be the casebook, where you will manage your cases. You will see which cases have been assigned to you, which ones have been already closed, which ones are still open. You will have your incidents, which you will be able to assign to the cases, basically created by high fidelity events, promoted by either users or Telos themselves. And there will be direct integration also with Orbital. Of those of you who don't yet know what orbital is. So this is the new premium feature for endpoints, where you can run SQL-style queries, again, your full range of endpoints to pull in data such as operating system version, registry keys, status of a certain process, etc. Basically, any element that your operating system can give to your agent, you can basically pull in using Orbital and do basically threat searching and threat investigation across your whole fleet of endpoints and devices and so on. So let's take a look at how the ribbon will work. As I said, it's going to pop up from within your browser. You will have your different elements that will be included. As I said before, your casebook, incidents, orbital, and general settings. In the middle, you will have your apps, so pivot to SecureX, AMP, Orbital, etc. When dealing with casebooks, again, you will be able to see the cases which are, let's say, owned by others or owned by yourselves. As you select a case, again, you'll be able to see which elements are within that case. So basically the title, when it was opened, the status, the owner, stuff like that. And obviously there'll be notes, etc. If you want, you can edit the case by basically adding in the elements on the web page where you are. So for those of you who are familiar with CTR, with, let's say, the plugins for different browsers, the plugin can pull the observables directly from the web page, such as URLs, hashes, IP address, etc., and you can add them directly into the case itself. You can then basically pivot back to the case. Again, look at the details that you have, look at the domains which are there. You can switch to your web browser and pull in, let's say, the URL for Umbrella, so you can investigate it later on. So again, just building an array of materials, array of tools that you can use later on. You can expand it. So again, you can see everything that is in here. So it's not basically squished down all the way to the bottom of your window. And again, review all the elements that are part of your current incident investigation. Let's say the domains, IP addresses, hashes, etc., etc. And also basically use the various navigation or search capabilities which are already integrated inside the ribbon itself, where you're able to, again, look at directly at some orbital characteristics, let's say some queries that have been launched. You can also access this when the ribbon is minimized. So you can look at the, let's say, casebooks. You can launch different apps directly from the ribbon itself. Again, powered by SSO, powered by the Duo integration that is already in there. And again, review the queries, switch to the different tool that you may have. Again, you do need to have license for this. So again, SecureX by itself is free, but you do need to have, let's say, M for endpoint license. You need to have the orbital license for M for endpoints, etc., etc. Yeah. And again, by pivoting between the different tools that will be available, you can proceed with the investigation of the case that you're working on, and thus work between the different tools that are available and that are integrated in the environment itself. Okay, the next thing, which is also very important, is automation. As I mentioned before, the tool will allow you to provide pipelines for your events, for your investigations, for basically things that, let's say, happen often, either for your IT team, for your NetOps team, for your security team, that you would normally need to handle manually. And basically, you'll be able to build pipelines of events, of actions, of different observables, etc., with integration already in there. So again, this is maybe just a list of adapters and integrations that will be shipped as the product comes out on June 30th, be it from your infrastructure, SSH, Python, email, etc., to your different network tools, various security tools from Cisco, Google, Microsoft, Signal Science, etc., to, again, open source tools that are already out there, from Have Endpoint to Cybercrime Tracker, Abuse IP Database, etc. So basically, what does it mean that an adapter integration exists? That means that you are actually able to drag and drop an element, an action, an observable directly from within SecureX to the main screen, and include that in the workflow, in the pipeline that you are creating. Let's take a closer look at how we can actually do this. So as you log in to your actions screen, you'll basically be able to see the list of existing pipelines or scripts that are already in there and create your own. So if we select a new workflow, you come up with a blank canvas, where on the left-hand side, you have your activities, and on the right-hand side, you have your, let's say, parameters, properties, etc., which you type in, which you need to actually fill in. So for example, if we are creating a pipeline for data extraction response, we obviously need to understand, okay, what do we want to do? So we will create multiple groups, but groups are basically just containers. And this is just for us to understand, okay, which actions or which types of things fit together. This doesn't imply any actions at this point in time. But we will start off with creating the groups. So let's say we'll start off incident assignment. Then we'll move on to, let's say, investigation. As it is possible with a CTR, following up with investigation, we'll then create, let's say, a new group, which will, for example, allow us to pull the data in from Orbital to create a snapshot. So basically a copy of an existing state to review it later on. Again, create a new group, provide a name, again, to set up how it will actually function. Let's say open ServiceNow ticket and notify the administrator via WebEx Teams. And again, full automation is already present within the environment itself. So again, we set up just the, let's say, containers. And now, as you can see on the left-hand side, those are all the actions that already exist in the tool itself. And without having to understand the APIs, without having to provide code or to basically use either Python, Perl, whichever is your favorite coding language, you can access the building blocks that are already there for the various tools, various environments that you want to integrate. Pull in the building blocks, optionally provide some attributes. For example, I don't know, certain web page will give you an API key, and then you need to tell the second block, okay, use that API key as a string to follow up and so on. But again, the idea is to create a flow of elements from the existing ones without actually needing to code anything, without actually needing to, again, go into those APIs, etc. So this is already having provided for you with the existing integrations, but obviously, if you want to, if it's not in here, you can create your own integration. So you're not limited to what's in here. But again, create the full flow, again, directly from within the environment itself, and set up the parameters, set up the attributes, debug it if you want to. So we can see up there the validate button, so it will run through the procedure itself and see what it basically does in real time as well. So the question before was, how do we integrate? What are the integration options? How do we actually provide those integration capabilities? So first of all, obviously, is using APIs. So APIs are the number one integration option, if we can possibly use it. It's the simplest because an API will normally tell us, okay, this is what you can do, and this is how you can do it. So it's quite straightforward. They're documented, you know how they're used. And we can directly integrate those with, let's say, existing SOAR products, with existing browser plugins, and so on. You can pull the data in using external mechanisms, such as, let's say, enrichment from external data sources, a bit more effort, so you know basically which element of the web page or API integration you need to pull in. You can create your own integrations or use the ones that are already there. Or, as I said, create your own adapter. So create your own integration capability to automate with the playbooks, to basically integrate with some of your own code, but basically integrate just about any third-party product that provides network connectivity so that the SecureX is able to reach out there, pull the data in, and enrich your existing investigation that you're working with. And to slowly start wrapping things up, it's also important to understand what SecureX is and what it isn't. So the way that we talked about things today, you might, let's say, compare it to a CM, as it pulls the data in, shows it to you, provides visibility. Well, it's not really a CM. It pulls the data in, but it doesn't keep it. It doesn't need its own storage, etc. But it does provide various visibility to your various IT net or SecOps teams. Is it a SOAR? Well, not really. It does provide integration. It provides basically the scripting. It provides the automation capabilities. But again, the whole faster lifetime to value, all those integrating APIs, integrated calls that are already in there, enhance your workflow, make your lives much easier. Is it an XDR? Well, again, not really. XDRs would normally require, let's say, a data lake where you, again, pull the data in, analyze it, etc., etc. SecureX will integrate with your existing tools. It will pull the data in that it needs and basically produce the results as you need to have them, but it won't require any, let's say, extra storage, extra capabilities. You don't need to subscribe to any additional licenses, anything like that. But basically using whatever the existing tools need, pull this data in, provide visibility, provide investigation capabilities, and provide all of that integration that is in there. As I mentioned, June the 30th, security.cisco.com. Just log in with your existing credentials. You can use your Cisco or Microsoft ones. And happy SecureX. So again, free to use with existing Cisco licenses, very quick time to value, integrated with existing Talos capabilities, and delivered to your SOC, to your NetOps, to your SecOps teams, to whoever feels they should use it and that will actually see the value of the product itself. Okay, we had some questions that were already answered during the session itself. Do we have any additional questions at this point? Okay, otherwise, if you guys come up with any additional questions, again, as I mentioned, this will be recorded. It will be available on Consta and NIL web pages. There was a question regarding ICE integration. To my knowledge, at this point, ICE will not be fully integrated. This will probably be coming up later on. But obviously, as ICE is a pivotal element within the whole Cisco security portfolio, providing the whole identity and so on, it will probably be integrated soon, but I don't think there will be full integration at MVP. Okay, then I would like to thank you all for joining this week's webinar. And yeah, have a nice day.